Call the meeting order.
Yes.
Roll call.
Okay, one second. I'm gonna see. Cristina Duarte,
Here.
JJ Gomez, not present. Federico Lizondo, here. Viviana Frank, not present. Roberto Gonzalez,
Here.
Francisco Reyes, not present. Ruby Rangel, not present. Nidia Robles, not present. Barry Gonzalez,
Present.
Myra Hernandez.
Present.
And then, José Moreno and Jaime Perez. Okay.
All right. Public comments, there are none. Okay, so we'll move into discussion on drafting, I guess, or discussion about budget. Okay, so I don't, I'm not familiar at all with the budgeting process for the city, or what we need to do, so I think probably, what I've given each of you is basically our statement, the statement for LCUS, the statement of activity for the past year, which is pretty representative of the expenses that we have had for the past 3 years. I think changes probably we would need to add this year, or some sort of accounting. We need to have some sort of an accounting, geez, what's it called? We're gonna need to have an accounting service, somebody to look over our books. Now we talked about briefly the 990s, filing the 990s. We did get another option. Andy Guardiola, he was quoting, it ranges anywhere from, I believe, $50 to $500, depending on which 990 it is. The one for this past year, I think it would fall under 990, give me a second real quick.
And we're pending 3 990s, right?
Yes, we need to submit 3. So the Form 990N, which is less than $50,000 gross receipts for tax year, which this past year applies, it's $25. 990EZ, which is more than 50,000 but less than 200,000, I believe. That falls in the other 2 years. So we're probably looking, if the board decides to go with Andy Guardiola, we're probably looking at an expense of $600, like $700 to $900, somewhere around there. Now, I don't know much about Andy. I believe he's an attorney who also files these forms. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yes,
That's
okay.
what I was
The accountants I reached out to, I believe they quoted $1,500 per 990. Obviously, we'd save a great deal of money going with Andy Guardiola. But I think we still need an accountant to go over the books and to make sure everything is in order, and just give us any advice on, I mean, if we're categorizing everything correctly, best practices, because at this point, I mean, I don't know exactly like how a nonprofit works, like accounting wise, you know what I'm saying? So it's my opinion that we need to get one.
Well, the other thing is that we want to expand our funding sources. We need audit, and we need some of the forms. So technically, the director can apply for other grants, because it will require some of these budget documentations to be in place.
Oh, that's right, that was mentioned. So then we need an auditing service, correct? Which I was hearing was thousands of.
Well, it depends. If you go, there's some accounting firms who can do the audit in combo, because they have those services that come up. Whatever happens to, I think I remember the last name, Soto, CPA.
No, he wouldn't.
And then
He ended up being short-staffed, and so he couldn't help us.
Let me see what I have it in mind. I recall another one. And I think they mentioned Soto because he's most common within the nonprofit world.
Mhm.
Let's see. think there was one more that media had brought up. Is it another one? The other thing is, I believe that we also need to look at our bylaws, procedures based on how the city chartered this project or program, which also reflects back on our budgeting cycle and needs. As a director, do you have any documentation of the programming and average cost for expenditures?
We're working on that, on building those templates. Look at them on daily basis.
Okay. Because I think that's another thing that the companies we hire will need,
Okay.
or tentative proposals for new year. Because if we're gonna need some additional funding, we're gonna need their expenditures. Because this shows me nothing.
Okay.
So the general programming, that would include the cost of what it costs to be
The
there, the
cost of
miscellaneous, all that,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, that's what we're working on, and then we got this, and then we would need the ones for the past 5 years, if we have that. Same thing, I think, would be enough, do you think, to help us fill in all the information for the application, for the 5-year plan? No worries. I think that's what we're hoping to get with Francisco.
I'm reading the financial responsibilities,
Mm-hmm.
and the resolution, which are like our bylaws, and yeah, it does say here that we do need an audit, and then we do need an annual budget, and it says no later than 90 days prior to the beginning of each fiscal year. The board, yeah,
A eso se refería el city manager, que
yeah,
entreguemos todo para junio.
No later than what was the word said on
90 days?
The fiscal year. So I don't know if it'll be the same fiscal year for the city or
Creo que sí.
so it's every October.
Ajá. Por eso nos pidió todo para junio, para ver si en agosto se aprueba el presupuesto.
Funding for the new cycle. So, but this shows negative. This is including the funding allocation from city?
No, not because
Then you-
nothing was allocated in 2023. We didn't get it until this
Oh,
February.
okay, excuse me, it's 2023, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was this budget cycle still.
Oh, okay.
So then, just for clarification, the new budget cycle starts in February to,
Well, no,
well, we just got approved of that you're talking about?
yes, we got approved, but this particular item is calendar year, it's not fiscal year.
It's not fiscal year.
Okay, so then it would fall under the next, like that information would fall under the next calendar year?
The new funding is, if it's worked under calendar year, it would come under this calendar year,
Okay.
which is January to December. But
Mhm.
based on what I gather, we should function systematically to cities, so cities October to September.
Okay, October to.
So I think for future reference, that this needs to reflect
We should move October
October
to,
1st to
So you can
September
yeah.
30th.
it'll make it easier.
Okay.
And then that way, then it's fiscal year.
Mhm.
does anybody know if we've had a budget in the past? Unless any little budget?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
You came in when, was that?
August 2020.
And so those are the 3 years that we need filing. If the 2021 filing, which is your first 2021, it was less than 50K, so it was probably maybe just your salary.
So if it asks,
2020, 2021?
Because you said we have 3 years of filing, or someone said we need to have
Yes.
3 files, so if it's 3 years, then it's 23, 22, 21 filing. Because 24 todavía no pasa, that's
Right.
till next year.
Yeah.
So that means you came in 2020, so that means 2021 would be our first year of filing, which is
Okay.
probably just salary.
Right.
And we can't file it ourselves, the 990 N? I'm thinking if it's just,
If it's that one, yeah.
if it's
I mean,
just
we can
salary,
do it too.
I mean, I
Yeah.
can dig into it. For no reason, I've been doing VITA for 15 years, so I must have learned, I'm just kidding. Or partner with someone from the VITA program who has the upper
Rafa
credential.
Castillo, Rafa from Azteca Development.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then at which point should we have Guardiola or somebody else do it? If it's the easy or obviously the regular,
Oh, yes,
Easy
it's always
way to-
someone that does that for a living, obviously, but if we look at funding, unless there's funding available through the new budget cycle, I think we should go with a CPA, to be honest with you. But 2021, 1,500, and that's per page or per year? 1,500 per year?
Yeah, they were quoting 1,500 per year to go back.
And that's who will get?
Jordan and
That's the name.
Ruyan.
Jordan in here, but I didn't have anything else.
Jordan
Just the-
Ruyan. Yeah, we did reach out to somebody else, I
I
forgot
have
his
Jordan.
name, and he basically is like, no, you're too small. In essence, that's the message I got. Like,
No, and that's right. So for all that's 1,500, it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
For, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Not for folks. I wonder if we can find someone else who,
And to
Who else
file,
is
we,
it?
we still need money though to file, right, like with the government, like submit a filing fee.
well, we're an exempt entity.
Yeah.
So technically, we're not supposed to be paying,
Mhm.
unless we did something wrong then.
Well,
That's what I'm saying, like,
yeah, but we
I've
just
seen
got
the
the,
990 forms and they're not that complex, but
We got
it's a
that.
gate.
so is a 501c3 status retroactive as well? Cause I think we just got that one.
yes, and that's why we need to file 3 years.
For it, cause it's retroactive?
Yes.
Okay, so then we would still be exempt then.
Let me get back through each year, 22.
El 501 lo agarramos en 23.
Mhm.
That's
A los últimos, ¿no?
Al principio del 23.
I have, okay, so a little bit off topic, but just to let you all know, okay, I have an appointment at 2:30. I got hearing aids a couple weeks ago, and they need to adjust them, and they put the appointment at 2:30, so I need to leave like at 2:15,
Okay.
okay?
I don't think it should take us that long, no?
No, I don't
It's not a, the line items are pretty simple.
Yeah.
Okay, so gross receipts for 22 were $45,466, which falls under 990 yen, and then, Twenty, 2021 gross receipts were $7,877, so that falls under the 990 yen.
So that's two 990 ends.
Well, three.
Three.
It's a-
All of them are,
Yeah.
all of them are ends?
Oh, yeah, the last one was $7,800. That's right.
I'm not a big fan. I'll talk to a tax agent,
Okay,
an IRS tax agent, and see what we can do.
okay, all right. It's the year before, I believe, where we got the large, the initial large funding check from the city,
Which is this past.
2020. I believe it was 2020.
2020.
Let me see. But we're not required to follow, we're just required to pass 3 years.
Well, yeah, but 3 years is 2021.
No, 2021, we're good, it was $7,800.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 2020 that, let me check.
You started one in 2020, so we're gonna do 21, 22, 23.
Pero el primer
So you file in,
Yeah, 2020 is when we initially received.
no, we're fine. Salvamos por meses, entonces. Okay, I'll still check just in case.
Okay, yeah, sure, absolutely.
And then I'll see, and then I'll make some phone calls when we're done with the meeting.
Okay, so then the audit will probably be a big expense for LCUAS, I'm thinking.
Unless we get somebody to do it pro bono. We can get pro bono, right?
An audit? I don't know.
Hypothetically speaking, if we get an auditor to do it pro bono, I just don't know the legitimacy. If it's, well, no, if it's pro bono, it should be fine. I think, would that be a legal question?
Yes.
Yeah, well, here on the responsibilities, it just says that it needs to be an independent auditor who is duly licensed or certified as a public accountant in the state of Texas with the financial books and records of the corporation.
So it could be, again, I'm just gonna throw my names, Myra CPA or Myra Auditing, but I do pro bono stuff to help the community as a in-kind donation, but I still need all the requirements.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you.
Not me, yes, not me, but I'm just, so I don't give anybody else's name.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got
Priscilla at consulting firm.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And Priscilla I call Priscilla, and Priscilla says, I do pro bono work right now because I have, you know,
Mhm.
my tax credit, tax incentives to not pay, and so yeah, I'll do it for pro
Mhm.
bono. There's nothing that precludes us from getting pro
Mhm.
bono, as long as they meet those requirements.
Yeah.
Okay,
That would be great.
yes.
That would help a
No
lot.
promises, just we'll see.
Okay. So in the budget, if I'm understanding correctly, it has to be for 5 years? Like the budget plan has to be for 5 years? Okay.
Yes, projections. Y'all are working on that?
Mhm.
Okay.
You're needing a template for the budget, is that what you're
Mhm.
saying?
You have a template to go off of?
No. No, I don't. I'm hoping to get that from Francisco. That'd be the only lead that we have for templates and examples of what we could do. If you guys know of who I could connect with at the city, I'm more than happy to do that too. I just don't know who's my
We have
person.
like our program templates, I mean, just something basic.
I'll look at that. I think what we did is, we did a spreadsheet that just does like the overview, what it requires, but I'll look at it too just to get different ideas, and that's what we're working on now. But as far as the projection for the actual budget of what it'll be for 5 years, that's what I also need guidance on.
Well, and the reason, because it's a projection, as a board, we need to determine what is our strategy or strategic plan for the
Yeah.
next 5 years, so we can project. And into that, what you need to consider is inflation and cost. So even though you're buying plants right now at $10, well, plants in 5 years may cost $20. So we need to make sure that we project a 10 to 15% increase in, I usually do 20, I would get in trouble, but
Per year?
I would rather, I do a 20
Per year.
per year.
And we can't start the budget because we don't know what the expenses have been, right? When
We don't know what expenses are.
Yeah.
So that, in the.
I'll ask if I can share my, like, it's just a template, I mean, I'm pretty sure I can, I'm sure there's any issue with you, and then I can share it. With them, I could share it.
Thank
And then you could just kind of, it's all formulated, so that you have like personnel, if he has fringes, things like that.
Yes. Because I think up until this point, there wasn't anything that documented for specific items that were being used for set projects, so that's what we're building on now, to put the project, what it is and how much it costs to run it and things that they need.
And you have, and this is a good template, by the way, so you can have like supply material, right now you project like for last year, you had about $800. That wasn't probably including other items such as donations and, or grants received.
And you'll have to have justifications like for all the line items as well.
Okay.
So it'll ask you for a justification, like, yeah, you want $500 for seats. And then the justification will be like, what events are you gonna go to, what workshops are you gonna put together to?
Like, why do you need to see
Why-
this?
yeah, exactly.
Which you already
Where
have.
will they be used? Yeah. It just needs to be put into like the
So
budget.
every line item needs a justification.
It would be best, so that way when they present it to council, everything's like just clear.
Organized.
Okay.
Yeah, black and white. Everything.
It sounds complex, it's not. It actually
Yeah.
keeps you in check really when it comes to funding, and you know how to move things around, and we need to hire people, then we can look at the justifications, because you have a trend of growth in participation, but you need more people to help manage. So it's actually a healthy, setting the foundations is gonna take you a few days, but other than that, it's gonna be pretty simple, smooth sailing after that.
But I think the previous budget needs to be made because it's already gonna be May, and then in June, you need to submit. So we need that before we can even move forward with creating a new
File
budget.
and the audit, because the city manager
So
has to
this
this
and the audit before moving forward to.
Well, not city manager, it's just city, for city accountability.
Yes.
If they're gonna give money to anyone, they're making sure that we're accountable of the project we're in charge of.
And what's plan B if we're unable to get like pro bono, like audit and all that? So what are we gonna do?
It's gonna be
We don't have it
grants,
'cause there's no-
it's what it's gonna shut down. Doubt it, but I
Because
don't think it'll shut down, I just think we need to get this going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or at least
It's
see if we can get a
just-
donation for
Right.
the,
I think grant would take too long and the time of meeting it by June.
Yeah, no, great. There's no way hopeful, right? But yeah, that's,
maybe in the future.
that's tough, yeah.
Didn't we open like a donation link?
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna raise enough money for
No.
another.
No, pero entró algo dinero con
Well, I mean,
el proyecto de Zacate Creek. ahí nosotros tenemos algo de dinero que podríamos utilizar.
Now, this is, my understanding is council representatives through their discretionary funds can allocate funds for these type of initiatives.
Yes.
It's where we wanting to set permanent support from the city, not necessarily coming directly from council. This is through the city department.
Right.
Or city programming.
City manager.
It's funding that the city may have some
Yeah.
independent too.
And at this point of the
Discretionary
year,
funds.
is it something that city council has discretionary funds, so if we seek out?
They have discretionary funds, whether they have the available, my understanding is, well, that's easy, just go to the website, it should be published information.
Por
Well,
eso.
it's up
Pues
to
we
them.
can ask Melissa,
Pues, how do we ask for that money?
Sorry.
right?
Well, ask who for that money.
For example, like Melissa, since it's her district that has Canseco, would be my choice to ask, hey.
Just
could
go
you
to the
help with
council meeting,
this?
she has to put it on the, on her agenda, and
Mhm.
then you go and present, and that's how that
But
works.
that's just for Conseco district. Now,
That's for her district, yeah.
technically, the program is citywide, so
Right.
all council representatives can come back and say, set up some initiatives in our regions or in our areas, and of course, they could complement, or just, it's a city
Yeah,
project that
yeah.
just happens to be housed out of X district, but it's still a city initiative.
One council member has to put it on their agenda,
Okay.
so you guys can present it.
Correct.
Once you guys present it, then that's gonna be your presentation, like, is there any way the city can fund us annually for?
Well, not the city, it's discretionary funds through the city council.
Well, discretionary funds, they cannot do that, because if, say, the council does leave, terms out, whatever the case, the next funding for them is gonna be for another person, and so that discretionary fund is to their discretion.
Correct.
So
But it's
we
also,
can't-
yes.
Yeah, so you're at the, I mean, you're at the mercy of
But
whoever.
they can use it all the way, and
Yeah.
you're building partnerships, at the end of the day, it's not about districts, it's really about enhancing our city, period. So wherever you go would be someone that has continuum.
Well, I think that would be the plan B, is then if we can't get that pro bono, then that'd be the next running step, is to get
Yeah.
onto the next city council and ask them. Vamos tú y yo y les decimos.
Yeah. And but it's not like
This
a
covered.
permanent request, right?
Right, it's just
for
temporary because we
these
need to move
filings.
forward,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So that would, how do I wrap that?
Um,
So like
I think
filings?
first-
So you do a one-time pay, like a one-time.
Like a one-time
Yeah.
fee, because they can cover the cost if we
Then
can't
it
find
could
them.
come out from a discretionary. I
But
was,
then they can come back and ask why wasn't it, but it's retroactive to
Pero
it.
Yeah.
nos van a decir, ¿y por qué no usan el dinero que ya les?
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna ask, did the money that the city gave us, was it just for salary, or it's for additional expenses like supplies, accounting? Like, do you know?
Did they stipulate? I'm not sure if they stipulated what it was for.
My understanding is operations.
Es just para operar.
¿Sabes si hay dinero extra como aparte del salario?
Right?
¿Hay van a agarrar dinero?
I think, just to keep us back on track, because I know you need to leave, I think we go back to, I'm gonna call it square one. Let's get an auditor and let's get a CPA to do the planning for us. Again, I'll commit myself to right now, seeing if I can get some context and other costs, and then bring it to the table, because I don't even know if, this is last year, I thought we were negative this year. So we hypothetically could be positive this fiscal year, correct?
Yeah.
And so we are in that position, if we have the money, then we need to spend the money so we can get money.
Yeah.
Right.
At this point, I just wanna make sure we do have the resources, the funding. And I think, would you have that information?
The funding for,
From the
This-
city.
This fiscal year.
yeah, as far as what came in?
Like,
What we have
how
right
much
now.
do we have? Do we have any surplus or negative?
Right now, at the moment, yeah, we have surplus.
How
So
much?
why can't we pay for?
Yeah, no, we can. We have money to pay for other. We do. I'm sorry, I mean, it's because that's last year's.
Yeah, sorry,
You know, if we're gonna do,
That's
so we're not broke. We're gonna talk about, I figured you wanna look at 1 year, what would be a year, we're gonna look.
Oh, okay, you're giving this to us as a budget for,
Like-
But it's calendar year.
It's not, within 1 year, that's typically like, those are typically the expenses of LCOS.
Okay, but there is money to do.
Right now, yes, there's money,
to do
because
it
on
the-
February, we didn't get any money last year, right? January through December, there was, LCOS did not receive any funds.
Okay.
February, this past February, yes. we
Funding came
received
in. Some funding came in.
Correct.
Oh, so that we have the money to cover, we just need to, that Marie guy can help us, right?
Yes, but if we find somebody to vote, then it's true.
Just let me check, yeah, let's do that, so they're not, I don't think we can take action, right, or?
No.
Okay, we would just, well,
No.
let me check,
We meet next Thursday.
And then, well, as long as we don't have quorum, we could still,
Discuss.
right? So I can call you and say, we're good to go, or it's like, oh, we,
Yeah, no, that's fine, we can sit.
or we get together and say, go. We have a special meeting and to move forward, because that one you do need an action approval to move forward,
Yes, it does,
to hire whoever.
yeah.
Okay, there's my.
Yes, but we need to move on that.
But
Is it gonna put on the agenda then?
Like if
For
it's
next week?
just for
Okay,
the-
well, that is-
And it's your opinion,
It's for like,
No,
and then we use a CPA to file.
Huh?
It's your opinion that we use a CPA to file?
Both of them? Well, not my opinion. I, as a board member, would feel that it's more adequate to get a CPA.
Yeah, right.
I had volunteered and like, well, I don't think it's difficult, I've taken some training,
Right,
these type of filings,
right,
but,
but,
yes, but I'm also a board member, so.
yes.
yeah, no.
And I thought we didn't have any money,
But-
and we're running out of time.
So that's what I wanna clarify, if the budget that we did receive from the city, those funds, if it's only enough to cover salary, or it could cover other expenses like accounting.
Up to when?
Like,
October, September, it would have to be September.
I guess he's asking if the monies will be able to cover the audit.
yeah, not, or, yeah, the filing, like,
No,
It's only for salaries?
If we pay the tax amounts per form, we don't have enough for audit.
if we go with CPA and pay the tax amounts, currently, yes, we do have enough. But
For
we
that.
don't have enough to run normal operations through October, the salary and everything else.
This is why we're gonna do the budget
yeah,
request.
Yes.
so the
But
budget,
typically, when does that money come in? Okay, so let's say you go and present the budget.
October? No?
yeah.
Well, it's approved, but does it come in October or
Yeah, it's
later?
been a new fiscal year, it's in October.
So the money is.
If I'm not mistaken, it's October, right? We get the new funding?
Yeah, I think
The
that October is
approvals have to
okay.
happen before, so the approvals have to happen, I think August is when we present, the
Yes.
departments or
Yes, right.
present to council, and then approval, and so by September, you should know if it's approved, funding doesn't come in until October.
October.
Más o menos, is that what is that how it's set up in
So,
departments?
The workshops are June, July-ish. and-
That's when they want the budget.
For approval sometime in August,
August,
for prep
for
for September, for actual money to go in October.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking the budget or the budget department to start doing the allocation of funds.
So as of now, we only.
But you can operate because you know money's coming in. As long as you're approved, you
Yeah.
know money's coming in, so you're gonna be on the red, but you know money's coming in.
So the funds we have right now are just for salary up until October? Time to, like, more or less?
Let me calculate that, give me a few minutes.
Sorry. I'm just, I wanna know how much we have to play with.
So my other thing is, I don't know if we can discuss that right now.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Because we have
It's in
some,
closed session.
yeah, it has to be
It's
closed, and we can't take
Oh.
photos, so don't worry
Okay,
about
okay,
it.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, well, one thing that I, before you leave, that I wanted to add also for the budget is that our insurance might go up because we need to get, specific insurance for volunteers. So, I don't know if, maybe I can email you the,
I was about to ask you, do you have that? Is that what you're doing for KLB or? For
no,
us.
yeah, for you, well, I don't know,
We're doing
I just
the
received some
signing,
documents on it, and,
About
Insurance is 911 with us. It's insurance and getting the audit was what was really needed to move
So then,
forward.
and your expenses, put the audit, the insurance,
yeah, I'll send you an
salaries,
updated.
supplies, technology,
Because our insurance went up recently, just in general, but
the project, and again, those are your projections, that's where you go up. So let's say you spend 20,000 every year, you wanna do next year times 20% or 10%, whatever you want,
yeah.
at least every other year, because that's, you are gonna, and then you have your miscellaneous, your, oh God, we weren't foreseeing this issue to happen.
Yeah.
You know, the lights, well, the building itself is maintained by the city? Okay, so if the lights go off, something happens, city has to come in, but that's in our contract?
We don't have a contract.
Okay.
And I think the other thing to add on the budget that we've talked about as a board, but, you know, they can decide whether they'll fund it or not, is a position for a program coordinator.
Yes.
So that's something that we could add on to the budget. And, you know, worst case, they won't approve that part,
Right.
but at least we'll have it there so that.
Okay.
I would say a color coordinator and a groundskeeper.
I guess you
So then
can.
part of your, so then,
while you're asking.
Keeper.
So then part of your presentation can be approved, like it's not all or nothing? I mean, it's kind of scrutinized, your plan, and they say, well, we don't agree with this, like, but we're funding this, is that what you're saying, or?
I don't know, I mean, that's how I imagine, I'm not really
Oh,
familiar with the city
I
process.
imagine that's the same way. it is.
Oh, okay.
You ask for
Yeah,
anything and they'll give you what they
And
need.
you
Is
justification,
that if you guess?
you
Okay.
justify why, and then they make the decision.
Okay,
You
okay,
just put anything that you project you need,
On your,
okay.
that's all you can work.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The ideal world and
That's until you know.
yeah,
Okay.
It's the same thing as grants. You apply for everything, that's until you.
Yeah.
So I'll add this item to the agenda for next week so we can see where we move forward from the 990s. So we did decide that we're just gonna pay it, or we're gonna go ahead and
No,
see
we
if we
can't, we
can
don't
find
make
it?
any actions.
No, but for next week to add it on in there, it would just be either or.
Well, you can put, discussion with possible action on
Action.
drafting or approving budget, and then you can put discussion with possible action, or,
Approving auditor?
selecting or hiring an auditor.
Also
And CPA.
accountant? Yes. Also
So it's three line items, three. They all can be the same, but one is CPA, one is,
Auditor?
auditor, and then the budget.
Got it.
Okay. And so is it gonna be the annual budget or 5-year plan? No, it's a 5-year budget plan. So then put that as 5-year budget plan.
Speaking on insurance also, I think Yumena had mentioned that aside from, I think the board also needs insurance separately, and so there's multiple, I mean, she was making it sound like there's multiple insurances that the organization needs, I think. And you were just talking about, which insurance were you talking about?
Volunteers.
Just the TM?
TML, yeah, I think.
Okay.
There's not an all-inclusive insurance? I don't know,
I think it is all inclusive, but they itemize each one for you. Like if you want, if you have external volunteers, internal volunteers.
but I mean, like the board,
But I think
Yeah.
that, I think she was saying something along the lines that as a 501c3, they're required to have separate insurances or something like that. I don't know if that rings.
Right, well, what we've asked with Con was that we needed the board insurance, which was one. And again, I don't know if they itemized it, but he made it seem like it's a separate application and a separate fee for everything. It was board insurance, overall insurance, and then volunteer insurance.
but that's like one company can do all of that for us.
So TML, I know TML lists, I mean, on the binder, I remember it said something about volunteers. It also mentioned board, but I don't know what it covers.
Yeah, the TML does have the board.
We'll get TMO to give you a quote of everything that
Yeah.
a nonprofit would need.
What do you
Put
just-
it in the
But
budget.
I don't know what it covers. Like, you know, that's the only thing, like what,
Well, right now we're doing the budget
Volunteer and
projection.
just general.
Oh, okay.
General insurance.
Yeah.
okay.
And then I don't know if you
Remember-
would need insurance for the Ganseco house, because we're gonna occupy.
Diana dijo que no porque eso es de la ciudad.
I was
Yeah.
about to say that.
That's why I was asking, what's our contract?
Yeah.
Like what is, what, as occupants, what is our
I think the
obligation?
lease agreement says that we need insurance for the place.
Does Mr.
but,
JJ have that?
Tangible,
We don't have that.
the intangible items,
I'm not sure.
like the personal property. Personal property is like your computers, your desks, things that are not the fixtures, not your walls. That's personal,
Pero
your
no
personal
tenemos un
property.
lease agreement.
Oh, okay.
So, well, that's, it seems we don't have anything, so.
Yeah, okay, well, tentative.
So it's technically city property.
Sí, hablamos, consiguió la llave y la-
Oh, what Conseco is city property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
So then anything that happens to that property
Like,
is
officially leased.
the
to
obligation of the city, yes.
Well, I don't know if there's an agreement on the lease.
No.
I'm gonna think that city has something in writing, whether it be an MOU, MOA, something, because I would find it difficult to believe that the city allowed for an occupant to be in a property owned by the city without some form of agreement.
Yeah.
And it's to protect
I don't
the property.
remember anything being
protect.
signed.
No,
I just
no,
know.
no.
Well, were you all here when all that was set up? Because I wasn't, so
Yes.
that's why I'm saying,
Yes.
like, my
I just
understanding of the
remember-
city, they look at everything, so I would hope,
Well, I remember that was just the problem, that they were looking at everything and they kept looking and kept looking and kept looking and kept looking and
but
never,
nothing came.
and then they sent a draft for the lease and then it went back and then they were
So
looking and
it was
looking
a
like,
Y
and
luego,
today there's still no lease.
cuando yo fui por la
Ok.
llave,
Bueno.
lo único que fue, el coach me preguntó, ¿tú vas a tener la llave? ¿Tú eres encargado hasta ahora? No firmé nada.
There was a
Así.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, we'll look at those
Y
details.
sí fue mucha
when we get to
comunicación entre
those
mis
details.
ciudadanos.
But yeah, that's a good
la
point.
ciudad.
I mean, I
O sea, sí estuvieron.
I don't know, like, there is no lease, and I mean, I don't remember any kind of MOU. I
And
mean,
it may be
something we need to look
because
back at.
maybe a charter or a subset of. So maybe there is something, because I know maybe in the bylaws, she said additional information. I don't know if it was not a charter, I can't recall.
Maybe the
Resolution?
maybe information maybe has,
So it may be something where the agreement is set in writing, it's just not standard, what we are standardly used to or practice it. So maybe in the resolution where part of that was that the city was gonna provide the space, maybe. But anyways, so I guess that's a side conversation that we can get later, but, so then for budget stuff, I know we're not taking any action, so we're good. We'll look at it. Special, I guess a special call meeting, so we can move forward, get,
Pues la pregunta que...
we just need to make sure that we have
That's
the
it.
quorum, because if not, it's gonna be irrelevant when we meet. So
When's
we
our-
can get
our-
Francisco and
Next
Nadia. Did they say we can,
when's the agenda going out? Because I'm sure it
did it
has to
needs to
go
go
back
out
tomorrow.
today?
Today.
Well, actually, no, Friday because it needs to be,
The 5 days?
I think just 3 days.
so if it goes out tomorrow to be published, then, and it's next Thursday,
Yeah,
then
I'm
it will should be fine.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, make sure that we're here.
At least, yeah, and then the other details, so we'll see. Okay, and then we can have, and I look at city staff, but we can have a meeting virtual, even if it's a special meeting?
Yeah.
No, somebody said no.
Virtual meetings are
I
not.
don't know if
We're not,
I'm-
well, actually, we're not a city commission, so we are allowed. I've had this
That would be great.
conversation with legal and other committees.
Yeah.
But it's city committees. It's a city committee, like it's it's the Economic Development Advisory, and we have virtual. Well, and not 100% virtual. So it's face-to-face and some virtual. We need to make sure we have the space that could have some people virtual, just so we can make sure we have more.
I don't believe so, is there something in the bylaws? But
I know that in some,
Right?
About-
Me acuerdo, bueno, según cuando estaba el viernes, decía que.
Que no, ¿verdad?
You can feel free to text me if you have
and we
any
need to wipe out,
questions, okay?
okay, see,
Right.
and we need to wipe out whatever the past, because it was governor's orders throughout the past. I think moving forward, the governor has since flex and it allowed
you.
the autonomy for cities to make that determination, so I think it's just getting clarification for this committee, because for the economic development, we do have, some are face-to-face and other members are virtual, yeah. As a matter of fact, I even received we have one next week. And I wanna say, I have two, I have City Hall and then I have the WebEx, or the virtual. So if I can make it good, if I can't, but to me, I think we need to have a specific amount of representatives face-to-face.
Yeah. It is, I'm wondering who we can contact for...
Legal.
Yeah, you contact legal.
Legal
And it
for
was, what's her name? I forget. Heather?
Amber?
Amber.
Amber Holmes?
You have this in
And also one
PDF or online?
I think so.
You do control find and then
yeah.
you find it that way.
I know, right? Can you put iPads in? And I forget that, you know, like for me, Wi-Fi, you know, it's about paper. Well, I put my phone and I look into it. Yeah, it's easier for me, I'm used to it. Yeah. That's why I'm on my phone, I'm on my phone because I'm looking, getting information now.
You guys have to step up.
Right, and
Thank you.
stuff, right. And then, well, we're good, right, and the recording can stop.
Oh, you
Oh, yeah.
should stop it.
Okay, I guess we can't even make a motion to adjourn.
No.
¿Querías decir algo?
Ah, no, era para Valerie, que si me dice Francisco que si el lunes podríamos.
Sí, vamos, ¿qué hora puede?
Is it just like push a button, stop, or disconnect everything.